Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's pretty easy to forget that my unique experience on this earth is not the larger cultural experience at all times. In fact, it sort of rarely is. See tweet about pumpkin carving in early adulthood. So while it feels to me that stunt casting in theater is at an all-time high, I've only been around since the very, very late 20th century. That's not that long. I was barely cognizant in 2004 when, in a New York Times article, Jesse McKinley wrote, "Over the last few years, there have been certain absolutes to summertime in New York. The Yankees will be winning, no doubt, and Mets fans will be in therapy. There will be Shakespeare in Central Park, festivals at Lincoln Center, and an assortment of very odd theater at the Fringe." What a radically different time. In 2004, and this is all true, America was in a war in the Middle East, Sean Penn won an Oscar, Gavin Newsom was trying to become the president, there was a new Spider-Man movie coming out, Ken Jennings was on Jeopardy, LeBron James was playing professional basketball. Did you know that the more things change, the more they are legally obligated to stay the same? The article continues. And of course, on the city's biggest stage of all, Broadway, summertime means you will inevitably find a bevy of former television stars, lapsed pop idols, and other vaguely familiar names. And that all feels like an understatement compared to the stunt casting of today. Former television stars? Lapsed pop idols? What makes you think I'm only vaguely familiar with Megan Thee Stallion and Don Cheadle? You know what stunt casting is. It's when you put a famous person into a work of theater unjustly, because theater actors have actually worked hard, unlike those nepo babies in the film industry. At least that's how it feels when some people talk about stunt casting. In reality, it is purely a business decision where you put a public figure into a show and try to leverage their stardom to sell more tickets. And of course, I'm going to talk about Chicago because stunt casting is the business model for a show like Chicago. Chicago has been running in its current state since 1996, the slightly less late 20th century, and will continue running until the sun explodes. I can almost guarantee you know someone who has been in this production, whether that's Jinx Monsoon, Whitney Leavitt, Wendy Williams, or Billy Ray Cyrus. The number of blue names on their Wikipedia page is astounding. Mark Kennedy wrote about how Chicago finds its Roxys, and it really illustrates the stunt casting as a business model, where they find different celebrities and rotate them out to attract new audiences. Step 1. Find a Roxy. Once or twice a year, casting director Duncan Stewart spends $400 at a newsstand. He hands the trove of magazines, Ebony, People, Variety, you name it, to his staff. His instructions: there are no bad ideas. Circle everybody from these magazines and just write in black pen: Roxy, Velma, Billie, Amos, Mama. And sometimes you'll see an announcement and go, yeah, there really are no bad ideas at Chicago the Musical. Step 2. Pitch the Roxy. Stewart emphasizes the part's glamour and relative ease in negotiations. You don't have to dress up as a spoon or a fork. You don't have to dress up in green paint and sing through the stratosphere, he says. Adding a celebrity can secure their Broadway legacy in essentially 2 months. Some celebrities mull for years. Some need just days. They sign up for different reasons. Broadway's on their bucket list. Their latest tour sold poorly. They were recently divorced. They're doing it for their kids. Really fun to go through that list of blue names on Wikipedia and try to figure out each person's reason for doing Chicago. Like, what was going on in 2009 that made Jerry Springer go, yeah, fuck it, 3 weeks? All I care about is love. They have something you can't really teach them. They understand the idea of celebrity, he says. Butler usually asks the Roxy to draw on what they know: red carpets, news conferences, paparazzi pictures. They go from there. Butler credits Anne Reinking, the iconic Fosse collaborator who originated Roxy in the 1996 revival and created the Fosse-style choreography, with cracking how to accommodate each Roxy's skill set. An intricate sequence known as the cakewalk in Hot Honey Rag can be modified into the Melanie. There are obviously different expectations if you're seeing a non-theater performer versus trained theater actors. But changing choreography to make things easier because someone can't do it might make someone ask, well, why did you hire someone if they can't do the choreography from the show? People are coming because their favorite reality show contestants are now in a Broadway show. You make it good for them. The 8 shows a week is hard enough. Don't make it any harder than it has to be. Bobby bristles at critics who deride the revolving door as a gimmick. You can call it stunt casting all you want. There's an authenticity to it. Yeah, it's authentic stunt casting. You're getting celebrities who are famous to play someone who's famous. It's pretty good. It's pretty method. Because Chicago and stunt casting are two peas in a pod, two tangos in a cell block, it barely even registers as stunt casting to me. If next week they announce that following the NBA Finals, Karl Anthony Towns is going to play Amos, I'd go, yeah. No, that makes sense. He was in Devil Wears Prada 2. He's got some acting experience. It's about to be the off season. It's the casting announcements for Charlie D'Amelio in *And Juliet* and Megan Thee Stallion in *Moulin Rouge*, and every casting announcement for any play that makes me feel like stunt casting is at an all-time high. And after going through every show currently running on Broadway and the few that just closed following the Tonys, and writing down every stunt casting announcement that got its own Instagram post, I don't actually think there's that much more stunt casting than in the past, especially with musicals. Let's start there with musicals. The two Disney ones, Aladdin and The Lion King, don't really do stunt casting. It's Disney. The general public's familiarity with the story and the songs means they're gonna put butts in seats. All of the new shows from this season are still running with mostly their original casts, so they haven't turned to stunt casting to try and drum up ticket sales yet. The biggest users of stunt casting are Chicago, Moulin Rouge, Six, and Juliet. I don't think it's a shock that the shows that are using music the public already knows. It's okay. You can come up to the front, it's okay. The shows using music the audience already knows are also using people the audience already knows. One of the people mentioned in the article, Joey Fatone, is still getting stunt cast to this day. Just in Time is another jukebox musical, but what they do is more star casting than stunt casting, because like, who wouldn't want to get someone as talented as Issa Briones, who is also currently in a massively popular TV show? Seemingly the only downside is the obnoxious people who have yelled stuff about the pit during her performances, and that has nothing to do with her and everything to do with audience etiquette, which has been in the toilet since something happened in 2020. And now we get to talk about stunt casting versus star casting, which is basically just a question of how talented and likable you find somebody. That's reductive, but there is a little bit of truth there. Star casting would be someone like Daniel Radcliffe. He will continue to be a big celebrity name that even people who don't pay attention to Broadway will know, and he clearly likes doing theater and is good at it. The revival of Merrily We Roll Along would have had a much harder time getting produced if his name wasn't attached to it. I bet sometimes it stings to be working really passionately about something and have people go, oh my gosh, I can't believe Harry Potter's in a musical 15 years after Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out. But he has used his fame to do the acting work he wants to do, which is the goal of an artist, right? So Radcliffe's on one end of the spectrum. On the other end, the pinnacle of stunt casting has to be Cameron Dallas in Mean Girls.
You say more is always better, but there is less of you than there was before. So if more is always better, then you should have thought it more.
Don't worry. He hasn't given up singing yet. In fact, he's put out 6 albums this year. Do you know this?
Alright, good morning, y'all. No one's done it yet, so here we go.
That is a little generous. It is AI generated music. God has a plan. That's what he's telling me. On the first page under the song, every video is from Cameron Dallas. They do all sound exactly the same. I miss when he was in his country era. I'm not sure if the songs exist so he can use them in TikToks, or if the TikToks exist to promote the music. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Every other famous person who's on Broadway falls somewhere between those two. And the goal is to be more on the star casting side of things, or if you're on the stunt casting side of things, have people be pleasantly surprised by your performance. I know there are some people who will consider Anania's casting in Rocky Horror to be stunt casting, but I disagree. I think it's also silly to pretend that her online presence had nothing to do with her casting, but if Chicago has shown us anything, it's that when you're stunt casting, you give those people the easy jobs. And being a swing on Broadway is not the easy job. And just like with movies and TV, there are going to be more people who move from the online creator space to professional theater. It's no surprise that of the individual casting announcement, Anania's, the most online person, has the most interaction. My only hope is that as Broadway further embraces TikTok and short form video as not just a promotional tool, but as a way to find new interesting talent, is the creators they are leveraging are also compensated for the promotional part of the job. I have to hope that more theatrical producers are looking to the online space for creators who they could cast in their show. Maybe ones who already live in New York so they don't have to move anywhere. Maybe people with glasses, because I'm talking about Andy King, obviously. The Great Gatsby has had a few stars have their turn in the show. Cats the Jellicle Ball has the celebrity judges that are part of every show. That's a fun way to do it. It's kind of like when celebrities sit courtside at a basketball game. Those tickets are just priced into the advertising budget. And afterwards, you get to take pictures with those celebrities and have them tell everybody how great the show was. Because it is. Cats the Jellicle Ball is great. I've seen their ad with Zendaya talking about the Jellicle Ball a bunch, and I hope that actually got people out to see the show. Shows that become institutions like Hamilton and the Book of Mormon get to do their own fun stunt casting where they just put people who were in the original Broadway cast back into the show. That has to be the best gig as a performer. Going back to something that you helped build, knowing the audience is going to eat it up, and knowing that you're only there for a limited run. The only novel casting I could find for Wicked was Carl Mann, who is not stunt casting nor star casting. He is Broadway's first Asian Fiyero and Broadway's first British Fiyero. I just found it a little confounding that after over 2 decades, nearly 9,000 performances, they never got to Asian nor British. The character is a prince from a far-off land. You'd think at some point they'd hit one of those two by accident. And if Chicago introduced stunt casting as a business model, Oh Mary perfected it. Every casting announcement, both for Broadway and the West End, has been met with an appropriate level of pure excitement. Again, we see Jinx Monsoon, so we're happy, but there's also Maya Rudolph and Jane Krakowski and Titus Burgess and John Cameron Mitchell and Meg Stalter's Broadway debut. Come on now. They gotta make a casting Tony the way that they made a casting Oscar, just so that they can give it to Oh Mary every year. Oh, my pick for Mary Todd Lincoln? I'm so glad you asked. Ego Nwodum's gonna be at the top of my list until they cast her. Or until she publicly says she doesn't want to do it. Like many others, I also hope that Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang make their way into the show. But the one person who I don't think I've seen anyone else say they'd like to play Mary is Conan O'Brien. He could be any role in the show, but I think Conan O'Brien's Mary Todd Lincoln would be especially great. I feel like I just heard a sigh of relief from everyone watching this video that I am not a member of the Oh Mary casting team, and they're the professionals. There's a reason why they get paid to do it and I don't. Of the 19 plays eligible for Tony Awards this year, I'd say between 11 and 14 of them have some stunt casting. It all depends on who you count and how you count them, but big name celebrities in plays, especially revivals, are all the rage. Just this year, there was The Fear of 13, Art, Bug, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Proof, and of course, Waiting for Godot. Last year, there was Glengarry Glen Ross, Othello, Our Town, and Romeo and Juliet. I think you can argue that every revival that was eligible for the 2024 Tonys had some star casting.
So now, in order to do a play on Broadway, you have to do The White Lotus, or else you're not allowed. They have to replace you with somebody more famous.
Your acting ability, what you do on stage, not enough?
No, that's not how we make those decisions anymore. And you can ask all these extraordinary theater actors who don't do plays anymore because celebrities are doing plays. It's just a different world that we're living in now.
Star and stunt casting are clearly not going away anytime soon, and they're also part of why it's more expensive to see a play than a musical. Hooray! The 2025-2026 season was Broadway's most profitable ever, but over that season, the average ticket price for musicals was $128.83, while for plays, it was $139.55. No doubt a reflection of the myriad of play productions this season, led by A-listers that command top dollar for tickets. And while total grosses were up, the total number of attendees at Broadway shows was down. Of course, there are plenty of ways to see shows for below the average ticket price. That's why it's the average. The only way that total profits can increase while total customers decreases is if everybody's paying a little bit more. Fewer customers, about 500,000 fewer than the previous season, means that shows are doing everything they can to make sure people choose their show, and a little familiarity can go a long way. You can see why a show like Six, which is struggling with low attendance, would put Chloe Tucker Kane into the show. There are people who will now go see Six because their favorite reality TV real estate agent is in the show. I wish I had a favorite reality TV real estate agent, then they could have tried to save Death Becomes Her. Getting back to what Carrie was saying, Broadway is a business. It is the apex of for-profit theater, and those profits will always dictate what gets made and by who. Shows are getting more expensive to produce, and less people are seeing shows. When Wicked is having 22-year lows, maybe that's the indicator that something has to change. I know, I'm a revolutionary. I'm the first person to ever think that maybe there's something wrong with the economics of Broadway. To go back to the original article, because the audiences during the summertime are much more likely to be from outside the tri-state area, they may be drawn to shows that they know nothing about, but will go to because of the familiarity of the leads. Stunt casting is for tourists, and tourists aren't coming to America, not at the same rate that they used to be. When there is discourse about stunt casting, it feels similar to the discourse about Nepo babies. And I think fundamentally, there's this feeling of frustration that only the wealthy and the well-connected get to make art as a career. I don't think that's 100% true, but as Broadway gets more expensive and more full of established names, it loses its ability to become part of the broader cultural zeitgeist and becomes more for and by rich people. It's not there yet, and some show in the 2020s could become a huge cultural moment, like a Rent or a Hamilton, but that's not gonna happen if regular people aren't at the show. It's a lot harder for a show to shape culture when the seats are empty, or if the show is full of people we've already seen. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you wouldn't mind leaving a like or subscribing, I would really appreciate that. If I were to bet on a show that's going to become a cultural moment, heated rivalry parody music, no. Someone's gotta be working on the Obsession parody musical right now, right? Freaky Nicky's gonna be one of the numbers. If you only had one wish, tell me, bear, what would you do with it? Again, thank you so much for watching. It does mean a lot to me. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. A little behind the scenes trick. This microphone isn't even plugged in. I mean, like, it is plugged in, but it's not even the one I used to record. There's a smaller mic on the back of it. This is just a prop.